Dünyamiz Detay'dan bir kez daha merhaba. Programın bu bölümünde Irak Cumhurbaşkan Yardımcısı Tari hli Yayin konuğumuz. Amerikan askerlerinin çekilmesinin hemen ardından hakkında ölüm mangaları kurmak yüzünden tutuklama kararı çıkarılan Hasimi hakkındaki iddiaları kabul etmeyerek Bağdat'ı terk ederek Irak'ın kuzeyine gitmişti. Ardından Suudi Arabistan, Katar ve son olarak da Türkiye'ye gelen Hasimi, Irak'ın geldiği nokta konusunda ne düşünüyor? Diktatör olmakla suçladığı Şii Başbakan Maliki ülkeyi gerçekten mezhep çatışmasına sürükleyebilir mi? Tüm bu gerilimde Türkiye ve Amerika Birleşik Devletleri nasıl bir rol oynayacak? Irak bölünme tehlikesiyle ne kadar karşı karşıya? Hasimi bundan sonra ne yapacak? Soracağız. Ben Ayşe, Süberker. Dünyamiz Detay başlıyor. Bugün sıcak temasıyla başlayalım. Sayın Hasimi ile konuşmaya başlamadan önce Kuzey Irak Bölgesel Kürt Yönetimi Başkanı Mesut Barzani Türkiye'de çünkü temaslarda bulunuyor. İlk olarak İstanbul'da Başbakan Recep Tayyip Erdoğan ve Irak Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Tari hli Yayin ile bir araya gelen Barzani, daha sonra ise Dışişleri Bakanı Ahmet Davutoğlu ve Cumhurbaşkanı Abdullah Gül ile görüşmek üzere Ankara'ya geçti.
Kuzey Irak Bölgesel Kürt Yönetimi Başkanı Mesut Barzani, Amerika Birleşik Devletleri ve bazı Avrupa ülkelerinin ardından Türkiye'yi ziyaret ediyor. Barzani 2 gün sürecek ziyareti kapsamında Cumhurbaşkanı Abdullah Gül, Başbakan Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, Dışişleri Bakanı Ahmet Davutoğlu ve Irak Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Tari hli ile görüştü. Barzani'nin ziyareti Erbil'deki Kürt konferansı öncesinde büyük önem taşıyor. Konferansta bölgesel Kürt yönetiminin silahlı mücadeleden vazgeçmediği takdirde PKK ile arasına mesafe koyacağını duyurması bekleniyor. Ankara terör örgütü PKK'yı tecrit edecek konferansın toplanmasına sıcak bakıyor. Barzani ile görüşmelerde de öncelikli gündem maddesi terör oldu. Barzani'nin Başbakan Erdoğan'la görüşmesi yaklaşık 2 saat sürdü. Basına kapalı yapılan görüşmede Erdoğan'a Başbakan Yardımcısı Beşir Atalay, Dışişleri Bakanlığı Müsteşarı Feridun Sinirlioğlu ve MİT Müsteşarı Hakan Fidan eşlik etti. Daha sonra konuyla ilgili yaptığı açıklamada Erdoğan, Barzani ile Irak'ın gündemini görüştüklerini söyledi.
Irak'taki gelişmeler pek de hayır alamet değil. Özellikle mevcut başbakanın gerek kendi koalisyon ortaklarına olan davranışları, gerek Irak'taki yapılanma içerisinde ben merkezli, adeta şartları zorlayıcı yaklaşımları, Irak'taki gerek Şii grupları, gerek Sayın Barzani'yi, gerek Irakiye grubunun ciddi manada rahatsız etmektedir. Bunlar da bu süreci olumsuz şekilde etkilemektedir. Görüşmemizde bunun üzerinde durduk.
Barzani daha sonra Irak Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Tari hli Yayin ile bir araya geldi. Yarım saat süren ve basına kapalı gerçekleştirilen görüşmenin ardından otelden ayrılırken gazetecilere açıklama yapan Tari hli Yayin, görüşmenin amacının Barzani'nin Amerika Birleşik Devletleri ziyareti ve kendisinin Körfez ülkeleri ziyaretinin sonuçlarını paylaşmak olduğunu belirtti. Barzani'nin Başbakan'la yaptığı görüşmenin faydalı geçtiğini belirten Hasimi, kendisinin de görüşmeler sırasında aynı izlenimleri edindiğini belirtti ve "İnşallah doğru yönde ilerliyoruz" dedi. Irak'ın kuzeyindeki bölgesel yönetimin lideri Mesut Barzani, İstanbul'daki temaslarını tamamladıktan sonra Ankara'ya geçti. Barzani Ankara'da ilk olarak Dışişleri Bakanı Davutoğlu ile bir kahvaltı yapmak için Dışişleri resmi konutuna geldi. Bakan Davutoğlu konuğu Barzani'yi kapıda karşıladı. Basın mensupları önünde tokalaşan ikili daha sonra görüşmeler için konuta girdi. Bu görüşmenin ardındansa Barzani, Cumhurbaşkanı Abdullah Gül ile bir görüşme yaptı.
Evet, Barzani'nin temasları böyleydi. Stüdyo konuğumuz Irak Cumhurbaşkan Yardımcısı Tari hli Yayin dedik. Mr. Hasimi, welcome to Trt Türk first of all. We'll start talking about the latest and I'll have important questions for you. But before that, let's go to Erbil and talk to our correspondent whom you know very closely and get the latest from there.
Okay.
Evet, önce bir Erbil'e gidelim bakalım. Temsilcimiz Simla Yerlikaya'dan son yansımaları alacağız. Zira yine Türkiye böyle baş döndürücü bir trafiğe sahne oluyor. Simla, Barzani'nin görüşmeleri orada nasıl yankılandı? Hasimi'nin görüşmeleri nasıl yankılandı? Son notlar sende, seni dinleyelim.
Evet Ayşe, biz de öncelikle Erbil'den Tart hli Haşimi'ye hoş geldin diyelim Trt Türk stüdyolarına. Ve şunu aktararak başlayalım. Mesut Barzani şu anda BDP eş başkanı Selahattin Demirtaş'la bir görüşme gerçekleştiriyor. Görüşmelerin Irak'ta, Erbil'de nasıl yankılandığına gelince öncelikle gündem maddelerine bakmak ve onun üzerinden ilerlemek gerekecek. Görüşmelerin ana gündem maddesi Trt hli Haşimi'nin aslında durumuydu ve buradan hareketle Irak'ın içinde bulunduğu siyasi krizdi. Zira Trt hli Haşimi hakkında tutuklama kararı çıkmasından bu yana Irak'ların bir siyasi krizin içerisinde ve bunun aşılması için umutlar bir ulusal konferansın toplanmasına bağlanmış durumda. Fakat bu konferans da toplanamıyor ve bu konuda bir türlü ilerleme sağlanamıyor. Şimdilerde ise Trt hli Haşimi'nin Türkiye'de bulunması açıkçası Irak basınında birçok iddiayı da beraberinde getiriyor. Öncelikle Trt hli Haşimi'nin Türkiye'de kalabileceği ve sığınma isteyebileceği gibi iddialar var. Gerçi bunu hem Dışişleri Bakanlığı hem de Trt hli Haşimi'nin ofisi yalanlıyor. Ancak dediğimiz gibi bunlar Irak basınında yer alan iddialar. İkinci bir iddia ise kendisinin Mesut Barzani ile beraber Erbil'e dönebileceği. Barzani'nin görüşmelerindeki ikinci gündem maddesi ise terör örgütü PKK ile mücadele. İşte bu da Erbil'de yakından izleniyor. Bu gündem maddesinin altındaki en önemli nokta ise Haziran'da toplanması beklenen Kürt konferansı. Zira bu konferansa İran, Suriye ve Türkiye'den de Kürt temsilciler katılacak ve konferansa PKK'nın katılıp katılmayacağı merak konusu. Aynı zamanda Mesut Barzani daha öncesinde defalarca PKK'ya silah bırakma çağrısı yapmıştı. İşte bu çağrı bu konferansta da resmi olarak tekrarlanacak mı ve bölgedeki tüm grupların onayıyla PKK'ya silah bırak çağrısı yapılacak mı? İşte bunlar da Mesut Barzani'nin temasları süresince masada olan konulardı. Tabii bu temaslardan nasıl sonuçlar çıktığını önümüzdeki günlerde göreceğiz ve bu sonuçları da TRT Türk ekranlarından aktarmayı sürdüreceğiz.
Pekala, HASIMI Yayin Kaydi'ye teşekkür ediyoruz. En azından Irak'ın kuzeyindeki yansımalar böyleydi. Irak Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Tari hli Haşimi konumuz dedik ve konuşmaya başlayalım. Mr. Hashimi, welcome again.
Thank you very much.
Everybody is talking about you. I mean, Simla just told that there have been great repercussions about your visit to Turkey, and there have been some allegations that you are going to take refuge or shelter in Turkey. Is that correct?
No, there is no ground for such allegations. In fact, I was very much happy, in fact, to conclude my visit here in Turkey, and I'm about to leave Turkey, in fact, in the coming days, inshallah.
In the coming days. So let's start with the process, which is dragging Iraq into a sectarian war, and you've been blaming Prime Minister Maliki to have become a dictator, and there's accusations against you, which you deny. What was the reason for that accusations?
Well, and primarily, in fact, my case from the beginning is politically motivated. I was one of the major or principal politician. Tried my best, in fact, to put a Maliki policy into the right track. In fact, I was complaining against the wide-scale corruption of the government. I was very much concerned about the wide-scale injustice and the mismanagement, the unhealthy relationship between the central government and the region, KRG region. Mm-hmm. I am myself and many of the politicians in the political process very much concerned about the power consolidation in hand of al-Maliki, which is really becoming phenomena and a threat to the political process. We just feel that the building democracy now shifting to building a new model of autocratic regime. Mm-hmm. That's which makes us, in fact, very much concerned about the consequences. And what happened to myself, in fact, is a direct result of the power consolidation. Mm-hmm. All politicians now feeling that they could be threatened, could be targeted after al-Hashimi case. Mm-hmm. So this is why I received a wide scale and across the board sympathy from all the Iraqi politicians, irrespective of their faith, mm-hmm. and to the political entities they belong to, because they are very much aware about the allegations, about the political targeting. So everybody concerned about the current crisis, and I could say it clearly and bluntly that al-Maliki, unfortunately, because of his unqualified policy, put my country and the future into a crossroad.
Did Maliki see you as personally as a threat, or Maliki is seeing Sunnis as threat?
Well, first of all, in fact, as you're fully aware, I belong to a nationalist Al-Iraqi alliance. In fact, the philosophy of this alliance, the bottom line of the political platform is to treat all Iraqis, in fact, equally, respect to their faith, to their roots, to their ethnic roots. This is whether we like it or not, is confrontation of a sectarian agenda, which unfortunately that has been adopted by various political entities. And if we just dig in the policy that has been adopted by al-Maliki, it was clear-cut deviation from the criteria of national identity to the sectarian strife between different Iraqi components. This is the major differences, in fact. This is why I've been targeted. And it's not only me. There was many attempts to assassinate Ayad Allawi, for instance, the leader of the Al-Iraqiyya. And many of the Iraqi politicians within Al-Iraqiyya now have been blackmailing, because al-Maliki said it bluntly in front of the media that he's formulating fabricated cases against them. So the situation, in fact, is becoming a chaos.
We hear Mr. Allawi has started visiting Erbil lately.
Yes, right.
Why? Is he scared?
No, definitely. In fact, first of all, in fact, he was waiting Mr. Barzani, in fact, to come back to Erbil. Then he's very much interested, in fact, to see what sort of result Mr. Barzani has achieved through his tour to United States as well as to European Union. And this applied to me, in fact, when I met Mr. Barzani yesterday. In addition to that, we are getting closer to the Turkish alliance. Many of our political agenda getting coordinated in the past days, in fact, that brought two alliances now very much together, in fact, and both of them now designing an agreed upon roadmap as how to come out the current crisis.
How are you planning to come out? Because we see Maliki doesn't want to reach a consensus, and he rejects all accusations against it. And do you believe that Mr. Maliki is strong enough to build a Shia regime or build a real dictatorship?
Well, as I told you, in fact, there was a clear-cut power consolidation. Now the security and the armed forces, even the money, the major contracts of the government time being, the official media is payable by the central government, now serving his image and his aspiration and becoming just part of his own party publicity, for instance. In addition to that, he is now more or less hurting the independence of the judicial system. So if we are talking about security, armed forces, the media, the money, and now the judicial system, what left to his partners, in fact, in the political process. And this is this power consolidation, in fact, could lead in the future, in fact, if we allow that to build up. Definitely, we are.
How are you going to prevent?
Well, we will try our best. In fact, there is now consensus agreement between all politicians in respect to their political entities. Everybody, in fact, afraid and very much scared about the future. If we allow this sort of power consolidation, this means that whether we like it or not, we will end up with a similar autocratic regime as used to be before the invasion of 2003, which in no way we are going to accept that. Otherwise, there will be no justification for the tremendous cost that the Iraqis has already suffered, in fact, because the invasion and the consequences of the hardship and years that we pass on.
Haven't you sensed that this was going to happen? Because the arrest warrant was released right after the U.S. withdrawal. Have you been sensing the danger?
Well, yes, now from the beginning, in fact, my house and my offices been under siege since 3 months, in fact, even before the crisis blown up. And when I was here in Turkey, in fact, I reported in details about that to Mr. Erdogan. This is why he was very much angry, in fact, when he talked to the Prime Minister and Maliki, and when he addressed your parliament, in fact, because Mr. Erdogan fully updated about my tragedy, in fact, even before the crisis. So I've been treated, in fact, in very awkward situation and treatment by al-Maliki. Regardless that my position in the government is higher than his position. But regardless of that, he just damaged even the integrity of the presidency, in fact, and the powerful that we do have according to the constitution. What happened, it's really beyond anybody's imagination.
Weren't you friends before that?
Well, we are not friends, in fact, but at least, in fact, I was one of the politicians, prime positions, who elected al-Maliki in 2006 to be the prime minister. So might be, in fact, I made a grave mistake.
Yes, you elected Maliki, and now he wants to
He rewarded
arrest you.
to me.
Yes.
He rewarded this
by
concession
release.
to him in accusing me that I do have this sort of terrorist and allegations.
Mr. Hashimi, you've said one of, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 of your bodyguards lost their lives during the interrogation. Could you be a little bit?
Well, one of them is
that?
definitely, in fact, the murder, Amr al-Battawi. In fact, his body is already delivered to his family, and I wrote to the international communities, in fact, to get involved in this, and to speed up the investigation about the case. I missed also 2 additional bodyguards, in fact. I claimed for them. The government said we have no clue on them, but they didn't respond. In fact, okay, if
where are they now?
They are already arrested. In fact, they are under custody, so they should be responsible, in fact, for the result. They try to play games. In fact, in the media, they say we have no information about them. But I put them in the corner. I told them they've been arrested. I do have witness on that. It's your responsibility either to deliver them alive or to deliver their dead body to their families. I'm still waiting the government. This is why I ask, in fact, international communities, United Nations, and all NGOs in charge of human rights, in fact, to help me, to assist me. The human rights in Iraq really becoming a catastrophic, a disastrous situation, and we shouldn't turn our eyes blind on what's going on in Iraq.
What does President Talabani say?
Well, we need more from Mr. Talabani. In fact, with all my regards, in fact, with all my respect, in fact, I was expecting more to be delivered from Mr. Talabani.
What were you expecting from him more?
Well, at least to exercise his constitutional role. He has tremendous influence, in fact, and he is #1 as far as the official government post in my country. He is the man responsible to monitor whether the government is adhere to and comply with the constitution or not. If not, then he should interfere. In addition to that, the prime minister is being designated the job of chief in command.
Yes.
But the president is the higher chief of command. His position, even military-wise, is higher than a prime minister.
Why do
regardless of that, unfortunately, al-Maliki putting his upper hand on the presidency, and he is becoming the real ruler, which in no way acceptable, and it is illegal and beyond the constitution.
So how does Mr. President Talabani allows Mr. Maliki to have the upper hand? Because he's the president and he's the prime minister.
This question should be addressed to Mr. Talabani and not to myself. I was not happy about that, and in many private meetings with Mr. Talabani, I tried, in fact, to shed light on this subject, that the president should play a significant role according to the law, according to the constitution. But
so
I can't complain against the president. I really feel very sorry for that.
So can we say that in Iraq the rule of law is not in effect?
No, definitely.
Nothing?
The law and the constitution becoming al-Maliki. If al-Maliki like the politician, so that politician is in no sense, and he could exercise his normal life without any difficulty. And if al-Maliki becoming angry with any politicians, then that politician could be accused even to a degree of being involved and engaged in terrorists, like Tariq al-Hashimi.
What do you think Maliki is gaining this support from? Iran?
Iran and United States.
Iran and United States.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's take a look at the United States stance, because you've been complaining about the U.S. Doing not enough. Why do you think so? I mean, what is the ulterior motive of the United States supporting Maliki? Because the U.S. did not want Maliki to become prime minister in the beginning.
No, I don't think so, no. The date we decided in 2006, in fact, to change Dr. Ibrahim al-Ja'fari, in fact, they showed up interest, in fact, that al-Maliki to be the prime minister since that time. Although we decided voluntarily on that without any sort of interference. But the day we decided, in addition to the Kurdish alliance, I observed that the United States start supporting al-Maliki. And since the first session in between 2006 and 2010, we tried within the Presidency Council, in fact, to change al-Maliki for twice. And believe it or not, Condoleezza Rice, the State Department minister, in fact, flown from Washington to Baghdad just to tell us to postpone that. And the next time, Dick Cheney, the Vice President of the United States, in fact, again, shoulder responsibilities and flown from Washington to Baghdad to tell us, please postpone that and don't do it that. So twice they interfere. When it comes to government formation after the election of 2010, and al-Iraqi was the winner and eligible to form the government, we discovered that it's not only Iran supporting al-Maliki and to deprive the legitimate right of al-Iraqi, but the United States as well.
So Iran and the United States are
whether we like it
on
or
one
not,
point.
this is a hidden agenda, and it's everybody's responsibility, in fact, to dig in the factual relationship between the United States and Iran. We shouldn't bet on the superficial controversy about the nuclear file, about this and that. But as far as I am concerned, I am a politician. I am very deep concerned, in fact. I'm very much aware of what's going on in my country. I could say easily, in fact, since years, there was a close coordination between the United States and our troublemaker neighbor, Iran.
So, Mr. Hashimi, there is one thing: the High Judiciary Court, which released the arrest warrant against you, is comprised of 9 members, and 7 members of this court, if I'm not mistaken, are Sunnis, right?
No, this is not true. In fact, regardless of that, I understand.
No, because
that
I was wondering, because people
are
are talking about
Sunnis,
Sunni and Shiite clash.
Shia, Sunnis, Kurdish, Turkmen, they were in this committee, but 3 of them are Arab Sunni. Regardless of that, I am not I don't know the names of the Arab Sunni, the names of the Kurdish, the name of Turkmen. I'm not very much worried about the sectarian division between the members. In fact, the bottom line of that, in fact, whether this committee is independent or not, the answer is no. No way, in fact. Al-Maliki, in fact, keeping control on the judicial system, and the judicial system since years, in fact, gradually losing independence, in fact, and just becoming part of the executive body of the government and becoming in hand of the Maliki. This is the most dangerous development which has occurred, in fact, over the past years. Today, in fact, we don't have independent judicial system, and this is whereby the risk of the political process. Everybody could be accused by anything, and it's very difficult for the victim, for myself, for instance, just a vice president, time being fat. I've been deprived, in fact, the immunity given to me by Article number 93 of the Constitution. And until now, the Supreme Court declined to reply specifically whether I should enjoy the immunity of this article or not. They just kept silent on my application and didn't say anything. So instead of this accusation and the charges went all the way to the Supreme Court, to the federal court, my case being directed to the crime court directly. I am not an average citizen. I do have immunity because of my high rank in the government. So the Article 993, in fact, starting from minister up to the president, in fact, given an immunity. So first of all, these allegations should be thoroughly checked by the Supreme Court. If proved to be that there is some sort of ground of factuality, then the whole case should be diverted to the crime court. What happened to me, in fact, instead of this investigation through the federal court, I've been deprived this right, and all the allegations went directly to the crime court, and they consider me like any other citizen. So there is a clear-cut and injustice in my case. And in addition to this, all these allegations and confession given under brutal torturing. So I do have now a dilemma. I do have a major problem, in fact, as how to advocate my case. In addition to that, all the attorneys, all the lawyers, deprived even to read the investigation paper now, and I didn't receive so far an official statement or charges to know what sort of accusation somebody saying through the media that I paid $500 to my bodyguards, somebody saying that I sent regard and thanks in official. And you believe it, that a vice president send thanks to bodyguards when he killing people and give an evidence against myself?
So you have no official paper whatsoever? Nothing.
All my case is being controlled, being directed through the media, and not through the legal system so far.
So what are you planning to do if the current situation continues? Because Maliki seems as if he's not going to step back. What are your plans?
Well, it's up to me. It's up to him. In fact, I'm not afraid about my political future. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about my country, in fact. So it's up to now to the politicians if they want to find out a political solution, because they are fully much acquainted and under the pressure that from the beginning that my case is not a crime case, is politically motivated case. What we are waiting is a political solution. I hope that all the politicians are going to respond positively to the call that has been issued by Mr. Barzani before he left to United States. Yes. If the politicians sit down around table and study my case, or at least my case to be left to the three presidents, the speaker, the president, and the prime minister, to sit down and decide what will be, in fact, the solution for the problem. I'm happy. If not, then it's up to them, in fact. The court will be on the 3rd of May, and I'm ready, in fact, for any consequences.
But you won't go to Baghdad, right?
No, definitely, in fact. I'm ready, in fact. I'm not putting myself on top of the judicial system. I'm an Iraqi citizen. I respect the judicial system. I am very much ready, in fact, to present myself, but to a fair court. A fair court is not available time being in Baghdad. Could be available in Kurdistan, could be available in Kirkuk, but again, they deprived me from transferring the case according to Article number 55, which is routine, which is my case that I should decide. No anybody else, in fact. I could say that I don't have protection in Baghdad, then please transfer the court to another case. They are saying, when I applied for that for twice, they said, no, you have protection. What sort of protection? I should make this the analysis of my security.
But you have the constitutional immunity, right?
That's in addition to that. Now the bodyguards either arrested or they being just left. They fled the country, in fact, to I don't know where, provinces or outside Iraq. I don't have even one single bodyguard now. So what sort of protection given to Tariq al-Hashimi if you insisted that he should present himself to Baghdad court? So what's the difference now? If all the judicial system in Iraq is alike, so it's up to me, according to Article number 55, in fact, to transfer the case to Kirkuk. Kirkuk more safer, and they are not Shia, and they are not Arab Sunnis, they are Turkoman, so they are neutral between me and al-Maliki. So a fair court could be, and I'm saying I'm ready. But they said, no, we are not prepared, in fact, to transfer the case, and you should come to Baghdad. I am not going to Baghdad.
Are you afraid of your life?
No, at all. No, I'm a Muslim, and I do believe in faith. So my life in hand of my God. So I'll be happy, in fact, to face my faith anytime without. I'm not scared about that at all. I'm not thinking about that at all.
How about your family?
My family, my wife with me now, and she's happy to enjoy this nice weather in Istanbul. And my daughters in Jordan, and my sons, some of them studying, working in London, in the States. So The family is scattered, but anyway, we keep in touch anyway.
Mr. Hashimi, you in a way criticize Mr. President Talabani of not doing enough, and then you criticize the United States not to take the necessary precautions before all that happens. And then comes Turkey, and then you've met Mr. Prime Minister Erdogan, and you exchanged views on that. And Turkey, as a regional player, and which attaches great importance to Iraq, what did it promise you?
Well, nothing new, but I wish, in fact, Turkey play a more significant role than they have played, in fact, in the past. I'm not complaining against Turkey. Whatever we need in the past, in fact, I think they comply with. They try to reach out all the Iraqi components. They done whatever needed by Turkey. But I should read the outcome of their noble achievement and comparing that with others, for instance. The government formed, in fact, in collaboration between the United States and Iran, between the Grand Shaitan and the
Grand Shaitan,
United States, and Wilayat al-Faqih of Iran, which is really a phenomenon, which is really an eye-catching development. Why not between the United States and Turkey? The alliance, the partners in NATO, for instance. Everybody very much aware that the relationship between the United States and Turkey is unique. But when it comes to Iraq, in fact, we saw some sort of drifting. That United States is very much closer than Iran than Turkey. And this is why and how al-Maliki government being formed. And until now, whether believe it or not, we tried many times, in fact, to try to either to convince al-Maliki to change the course, to be for all Iraqis, or we might go for a vote of confidence. Again, we face a stumbling block of United States and Iran in the same time, saying, no, you shouldn't do that, and al-Maliki should be kept in power. What I was expecting from Turkey, in fact, to play more significant role. Turkey, the stability of Iraq for Turkey is very important. Sure. I was expecting, in fact, more political involvement, not economic and trade involvement. Now, economy and trade, Turkey could play the relationship between Turkey and Iraq in #1 category, in fact, which is good. Where we need it. We lack it very much. We need more involvement as well. But what about politics, in fact? We were expecting, in fact, Turkey to play a more significant role, not to interfere in our internal issues. They have no intention of that, and we respect the boundaries that Turkey are playing within. But we are expecting more influence.
Could you signify this more influence? I mean, what are you personally expecting the state of Turkey to do politically? Because when it does something, when Prime Minister says something against, let's say, Maliki, in your case, I mean, it received a very strong reply. So what is the way?
I am talking, Ayşe, I am talking of politics. I am talking about harsh statement or harsh dialogue between leaders. This is, I'm not talking about this subject, in fact. United States, since might be even the pre-invasion era, they made some sort of agreement with Iran to allow Iran to make use of the political vacuum in Iraq. So since 2003, the date of invasion, and until they depart Iraq last year, in fact, there was a growing influence by Iran in every respect. Yes. Economy, in politics, in intelligence, in culture, in social lives, in NGOs, humanitarian aids, every respect, every aspect, you could find a trace of Iran inside Iraq.
But Mr. Hashimi, let me get this straight. I mean, we know the influence of Iran on Iraq, but we also know how the US doesn't like Iran and doesn't want Iran to grow stronger in the region, because probably there's going to be an operation against Iran in the coming future. So how do you put these two things together?
Well, there is a mystery in this regard. I can't reply this, but this is a political area and a subject which deserve analyst, in fact, to go through. I was reflecting, in fact, the factual events happening in my country. And this might be a lesson for Turkey, in fact, to take care about in future. At the end of the day, the decision should be based on purely national interest of the country. We could receive some sort of recommendations, advices from our partners in NATO and everywhere in the world. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, our ultimate goal, our last decision should be based on our pure national interest. I think Turkey could have played a more role in the past, because we are now in need of Turkey, for instance. But in which way? What sort of influence Turkey has, for instance? What sort of instrument Turkey may have, in fact, inside Iraq?
What kind of instrument?
Yeah, when I said, in fact, Turkey concentrated, regardless of the political activities, experience that has been done over the past years, Turkey concentrated on trade and economy. And as I said, in fact, becoming #1. I don't know. This might be on the account of involvement in politics. So at the end of the day, when things related to politics, difficult to sort out through economy and through trade. This formula is not easy, in fact, just to tackle through this interview. But I think time comes, in fact, for Turkey to revise the strategy, to see what has been achieved, in fact, over the 9 years, and whether the situation now in Iraq deserve some sort of thorough revision of politics, in fact, at least to lay down some sort of roadmap for the future. We are very much in need of a genuine and fair partner, and Turkey could be a fair partner to Iraq. And we do have problem timing, in fact. So we need Turkey, and Turkey, I think, in need of Iraq. In the past, as you're fully aware, the concentration of Iraq in politics based on the subject of PKK,
yes,
and the future of Turkey,
yes,
and might be the Turkey future.
Yeah.
That's all. Iraq is not only 3 items. Iraq is much bigger than that.
Mr. Hashimi, when the elections were made, it took, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 months to form the government. Now, after this crisis, Iraqi politicians have been discussing whether to convene a national conference, and we haven't seen the national conference convened so far.
That's right.
Do you believe that in that case, maybe, can Turkey play a role in that? Because we cannot see the Iraqi politicians to sit on the same table.
Yani, Ayşe, if we get stuck inside Iraq, if, for instance, this call of Mr. Barzani reach an impasse, so what will be the next step? He might go for convince the politicians, in fact, for vote of confidence.
Yes.
This is not an easy job, I must say it from the beginning. So at the end of the day, I'm expecting, in fact, that we could reach some sort of difficult days in the coming future. Turkey and Turkey is maintaining a high standard relationship with all Iraqi components, with all Iraqi political entities. So Turkey is qualified, in fact, to reach out Iraqi political scene and try to compromise and reconcile the differences between the political entities. So the room there for Turkey to play a significant role on that. When I discussed the subject with Mr. Oglo just a few days ago, in fact, he was very much prepared, in fact, that Turkey in no way is going to leave the Iraqis alone. They will continue their noble goal, in fact, to overcome their current dilemma and to put the political process in the right direction. He said, I'm ready. I received a positive message from al-Maliki. We responded positively to that. So the ball in the court of the Iraqi government. If they wish us to play a more role in this regard, Turkey is ready for that. This message, again, being conveyed yesterday to Mr. Barzani, and I got this message as well from Mr. Erdogan. So Turkey is prepared. Let us go to Iraq and sit down with the politicians and see what progress we could achieve. In case we need further support, Turkey should be the candidate.
Now, Mr. Maliki seems not backing down. And then we heard Barzani that we're strong enough to declare our independence. And since you're you love your country and you defend the interests of Iraq as a whole, If the problems are not solved, do you expect the administration in northern Iraq to declare its independence and eventually Iraq being partitioned into 3 parts, including the south?
No, I'm not afraid about that, in fact, and I, I'm fully aware that I usually sit down with all the leaders. Even the Kurdish leaders, in fact, has no intention whatsoever, in fact, to split Kurdistan from the whole area. They are, if they wish to do that, there was a golden opportunities in 2003. There was no government, there was no army. So when they joined forces with other parts of Iraq, in fact, they came voluntary, and this is being confirmed in the constitution. We can't force them, in fact, to stay or to leave. But they say it bluntly and openly in front of all Iraqi people and communities that they are very much interested to be genuine partners within this geographic structure of Iraq. One thing could be alarming, could be dangerous, and could split Iraq. And that is not only going to push the Kurdish to split, going to push the Arab Sunnis as well, going to push the Turkoman, and might be going to push the Shia, the injustice, the wide-scale corruption, the unfair distribution of Iraqi wealth, the mismanagement.
Yes, I was going to ask you that because a couple of Sunni provinces.
These challenges are a real threat to the unity of Iraq.
Yes. Yeah. Some Sunni provinces want to declare autonomy and then want to become...
autonomy. It's according to the constitution, they have all the right, in fact, the legitimate right to evolve these provinces to be a region. And they do have now a model, whether we like it or not. They see a factual model on the ground is gradually building up some sort of different style of life. So whereby the other provinces, even the Shia provinces, they are suffering a lot from shortage of services, shortage of day-to-day life requirement, whereby the situation, the style of life in Kurdistan getting flourishing and much better than any other provinces.
Because is it true that the Baghdad administration cuts the budget of these Sunni provinces on purpose?
No. This is, but there is when I said injustice about the fair distribution of the budget, for instance, I mean it. But this is not only concerning the Sunni provinces, the Shia provinces as well, because of the wide-scale corruption. Now, instead of distributing the budget fairly among the provinces according to the number of population in each provinces, there was a rigid centralization to keep the major contracts in hand of central government. And because of the corruption, there was no improvement in services, and there is no improvement in fair distribution of wealth and revenues among the Iraqis, and the people are suffering.
But in the north, people are very...
Because they are getting the entire share of the budget directly. They are not getting part of it. Kurdistan getting 17% of the budget.
Yes.
Totally, absolutely.
And but it says 17% is not enough.
Yeah, regardless whether enough or not. What I'm talking about, they are talking the entire budget allocated to Kurdistan. Whereby in other provinces, they are getting only just small share of their legitimate budget. Whereby the balance is being kept under the control of the central government in Baghdad. You see the point?
Yes.
And because of the wide-scale corruption, because of the mismanagement, this contract is not building according to this technical specification or according to the time scale of the project. So there was no improvement in the infrastructure, in the services, whereby the situation is quite different now in Kurdistan. They are getting the money, their management is much better, so there is something being delivered each year. And the average people are seeing the development on the ground.
Mr. Hashimi, you just, I'm a bit confused because when we look from here, we see, for example, the Sunni provinces want to declare independence, northern Iraq wants to declare independence, etc. Just because of the Shia government doesn't want those regions to flourish. But as you say, it stems from corruption alone because the outer world...
Injustice and corruption.
Injustice and corruption.
And mismanagement.
And mismanagement. But we were more concerned about a sectarian violence, sectarian danger. Do you believe personally that Iraq will one day see Sunnis, Shiites, Arabs, Kurds clashing?
Well, it depends on the policy. If we overcome the current problem, in fact, there will be should be no worried about the future of my country. But this time, if we fail to reach any sort of compromise and to put the political process in the right direction to build a real democracy, all contingencies, all possibility will be on the table. I must mean it. I am not a sectarian, and I know the fears of sectarian strife, and everybody very much concerned about the future of Iraq. So we have to try to find a solution to the injustice and to the corruption, the mismanagement, the relationship between the central and the KRG, as well as the other provinces. If we fail to put forward a doable solution to these challenges, our future will be very, very difficult.
I have a personal question. When the United States invaded Iraq and brought Saddam regime down, it promised to bring democracy to Iraq. 10 years left. What were your feelings back then and 10 years after?
Well, I feel very sorry. I feel that we've been misled. I feel that United States has laid down Iraqi people, whom they are still dreaming, in fact, on the promises which been publicized in 2003. It's really a real tragedy that my country is facing. Yani, believe it or not, Ayşe, since 2006 until this year budget, $500 billion being allocated in the budget, and we are still suffering shortage of electricity, potable water, education, medical services, and the political process is really fragile, and the relationship between the political entities is very bad, and there is all the time, in fact, a tension between KRG and the central government. So human rights, you see the records of United Nations and Human Rights Watch. You see the category of Baghdad among all the capitals in the world. Really shame. Yani, I'm as a vice president. I look very sorry, in fact, to the experience. I see it was no justification, was no excuse, in fact, for United States to invade my country and to shoulder us such a huge cost without any tangible results so far. We just conclude phase number 1 of the change. We topple down Saddam Hussein regime, but what else?
Yeah, nothing.
We are still facing real challenges, and our mission might be very, very difficult. I'm very much sorry. With all these facts, United States saying that we fulfill the mission, and Iraq is stable and sustainable, and the political process is moving in the right direction. No way.
Mr. Hashimi, we're just 1 minute left. If you have one more message, I'm welcome.
Well, I thank you very much, Ayşe, for this interview.
I thank you.
I hope that Turkey play a more significant role and keep their noble endeavors to assist Iraqi people. I would like to express my gratitude to Turkey, President, government, and the people for the entire and wide scale and across the board sympathy expressed for Tariq al-Hashimi, and I will never forget this favor. Thank you very much.
We thank you for joining us. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Evet, Irak Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Tariq el Hashimi konuğumuzdu. Elimden geldiğince soruları yöneltmeye çalıştım Irak'taki duruma dair. Programın sonuna geldik. Sorularınız, yorumlarınız, görüşleriniz, eleştirileriniz için e-mail adresimiz yorum@dünyamizDetay.com, yorum@dünyamizDetay.com. Programların tekrarlarında www.dünyamizDetay.com internet sitesinden izleyebilirsiniz. Türkiye saatiyle 18'de yeniden karşınızda olacağım. Bu sefer Suriye'yi konuşacağız.